Well, I just first want to say, praise the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Um, Very, very special day today. Um, it's special because really I have the remembrance of the late Dr. Falwell and the dream, the vision, the mission has come right before us. And I'm blessed to be that person to be leading this football team during this time period. And so I don't take it lightly. Uh, I understand the significance of really all the things that have happened before, um, all these things of the people in hard work. When this thing got started back in 1971, and now football in 1974, 75, and here we are in 2018. And can sit here and say Liberty football is playing at the highest level. Um, it's an honor and it's a privilege, and I want to say thank you to Dr. Falwell. I want to say thank you to President Falwell. Thank you for Ian McCaw and all the people involved to get to this point. And I just want to say it's exciting. I'm thrilling, privileged, and this is going to be an outstanding season for us in so many different ways. We're going to be able to have to keep our composure in a lot of different ways, and the emotional excitement, the emotional of different things that are going to happen each and every day, practice, games, fans, so on and so forth. So I just want to start off by that and just saying that I understand what this is all about. We're here to train champions for Christ, and I'm excited about that opportunity here at the highest level. Then I want to go to our fans. Again, I know it's a thrilling and exciting time for our fans, waiting for this opportunity and moment, those that have been here in 1970s to 80s to the 90s, and fans. I think there's been a great excitement as far as the ticket sales have been outstanding, and so there's a tremendous excitement about that. I want to say thank you for the fans, and again, we need you tremendously here in 2018 to help us through this journey, because it is a journey. It's a day by day, month by month, year by year, making a transition going from FCS to FBS. And I'm, again, honored to be here, but I know that we need you fans to be here at every game to cheer us on as we're going to be competitive, hardworking, and then continue to training champions for Christ. So I do want to definitely say thank you for the fans. Then kind of turn to kind of with our players a little bit here for this season. I want to first just going to start off about our theme for the year, what our coaches have, or I should say our players, a little bit with our coaches, but I really relied upon our players to come up with this. You know, I kind of talked to our leaders. I stated to them to say that I want you to go find something that has to do with the scriptures. You choose whatever the scripture is, and then I want you to find a theme that's very fitting for this situation, for this time, as far as what God lays on your heart. And I thought they did a fantastic job of coming up with this thing. Sort of respect all, fear none. Respect all, fear none. And I think it's kind of pretty self-explanatory when you hear those phrases right there in those words. Pretty simple, but it's very powerful in what it means and what it stands for. Again, we're always talking about respecting everyone that we want to get done as far as on the football field. We're talking out the football field. We're talking about in the classroom. We're talking about throughout this whole community. And we're also talking about this whole country and about this whole world as far as being able to respect all and fear none. And again, I think the verse that they chose, which is, I think, very, very fitting. I'm so proud of them to really put this all together. I mean, I obviously saw some different verses they brought and this, that, and the other, and then kind of made maybe the ultimate choice. But, man, it's very, very fitting. 1 Peter 2:17. It goes right into it there as far as all that goes. Talk about honor all people. It talks about love the neighbor, fear God, and honor the king. I think it's very, very fitting for, again, respect all, fear none. We're going to honor all people, love the brotherhood. And again, loving the brotherhood, that's everybody. That's everybody in this university. That's everybody you come in contact with when you say brotherhood. Because when you're a Christian, you're related to everybody, whether they're here at Liberty University or they're here somewhere else. Fear God. Again, we're not talking about fearing God in a sense of running away from him and scared and that kind of a tone. No, it's just honor. It's just reverence of the name of God. So again, I think it's a tremendous thing. And then honor the King. Again, that's talking about the God, Jesus, and so on and so forth. So again, 1 Peter 2:17. That's our theme verse for the year. And again, I think I got to honor all of those guys that put that all together. Turn a little bit more to the standpoint of this summer. Coach Gillespie and his staff, I think they did a fantastic job. I think the things that kind of reflect and say, well, what things that they did or things that you have measured that can say that this team has done a fantastic job this summer. I think two things. One is a little bit more subjective, meaning leadership. I think that our coaching staff did a fantastic job of recruiting. The junior college kids, the new guys that we came in here, again, we got 25, 24, 25, 26 guys, new guys. That's the most I've ever had, and I've been here now going on my 7th year. And the maturity, if I had to say the one word that kind of maybe describe the new guys, the newcomers who have been here, I really, according with Coach Bill, again, he's been with them now for just now going to finish up 8 weeks. So I think after 8 weeks, you're going to have somewhat of a pretty good idea of what's going on. Again, he's been in this business, getting ready to be 40 years for Bill Gillespie to be part of this university per se. The other part of it is a little bit more measurable things, and that is 90% of the guys on our football team, and we didn't have, I'm going to say 100%. I required every guy that was on scholarship to be here this summer 8 weeks. And wasn't 100%, but we were right at it. And even if it wasn't 100%, it wasn't excused by what I allowed them to not be there. So we had 90% of the guys who had their personal records, their personal best in certain things, as in bench press, squat, the 3-cone drill, the broad jump, some of those things that are measurable and tangible that has to do with football. So those are some of the things that give me excitement about where we're headed. We still have a long way to go, but I love the direction that we're headed from the physical athleticism that we're showing in the weight room. Again, the weight room, yeah, you say, how does that carry over to a football field? It carries over in confidence and leadership because your teammates, you got to push each other. And in the weight room, you do that. Or when you're out there running 40-yard sprints, 100-yard sprints, or whatever it may be, you got to grind, and you got to have somebody to push you through. No different in a football game. You got to have people to push you through. So those are the things that get me excited about it as far as the things that Coach Gillespie has done. Going to change over here now to our captains. Just briefly here, touch base on those 5 guys there. Jeremy Peters, a corporate captain from last year, tremendous competitor. I think the one thing that amazed me, I think we just found out here about a week ago, he said, Coach, or they sent a deal to me, I want to move back on campus. A 4th-year senior. He says, I want to move back on campus. I mean, that's powerful. That's powerful. You don't need to say anything more than that. Just that alone kind of tells you a little bit about something. You just ask, are you ready to go? Or that right there tells me he's ready to go. He's been a great example to say, I'm here to get my degree. I'm here to get ready for my last football season to be the best that I can be. Not to say that you can't be the best you can be off campus, but that was on his own. There wasn't any of us talking to him about that or this. That was his own thing. So I think I'm excited about him. David King, former walk-on player here from the state of Virginia. He's played a lot of different positions for us. He's playing linebacker right now, potentially going to be our starting lone snapper. He's been through a whole lot of different things. He senior year in high school wasn't able to play due to injuries and so on and so forth. So he's come a long way. He's a great example, hard work, determination, and belief in yourself, and just staying with it. I mean, there's times where he didn't know, Coach, I may think about quitting. Can you help me on this? Can I get a chance to play? Can you put me on the special team? Can you do all this? And he hung in there, and we didn't put him on full scholarship. So David King is really, really a tremendous person. Dante Duff, offensive lineman there, has played a lot of football for us, and I really like his maturity in a lot of ways, both on the field, off the field, and taking care of his body and all the different things of that nature. So excited for him. James Passmore, another offensive lineman, really an offensive lineman, special teams guy, been chosen to be here. He's come a long way just as a person, and I love from where he has been and to where he's at today. Gotten his degree, almost has a 4.0 GPA, had some issues early on in his career here. at Liberty, and now a captain. I mean, I wouldn't have thought about that even just 2 years ago. Antonio Gandy Golden is our other captain there. Again, he's a tremendous young man, young guy. He'll be a junior this next year, but 2 years, and really a guy who is full of energy, really passionate about playing the game. Fun-loving guy when you're around him, talks and very, very smart. He's the guy that can do it on those Rubik's Cubes deal there in about 15 seconds, minutes, or whatever. I don't know, but way over my head. But those are our 5 captains that we're excited about. And then the last other thing before I open up to questions, just touch base here a little bit on injuries. Elijah Mitchell will be out for the season. Unfortunately, has an upper body injury and due to not to be able to recover to come back here this season. Then another little thing here is Antonio Gandy Golden. You'll see him in a cast. He should be ready to go here in the first game. Had a little bit of a car accident that occurred, and think he's going to be fine. You'll see it on his cast, on the wrist injury, I should say what it is. But, again, I think everything should be good to go. So you'll see that, but we'll be ready to roll with that. Let's open up to some questions.
Coach, you were reflecting a lot on Dr. Falwell and just the overall mission of the school. This is obviously a pretty special time for you. What are the expectations that you have for this team this year?
I expect us to compete. I expect our fans to see our guys competing hard every single play, hard-working, physical football team, and then we let God take care of the results. But I do see our guys being competitive, no question about that.
You talked about the influx of new players more than usual this year. With that big of a group, how do you try to kind of maintain the culture that you've had with so many new guys kind of trying to figure out how they fit in?
Well, I think the uniqueness, too, of it all is we ended up in the past, I've had one guy kind of match up with some of the new guys that are coming up. We kind of try to have one or two people kind of matching up with the new people coming in so they kind of can figure out who maybe best suits them in communication. Again, communication about anything, whether it's life, whether it's football or whatever. And I thought that had a tremendous impact on kind of where we're at today, according to Bill Gillespie and his whole staff, because they're the ones that spend a whole lot of time with them here in these last 8 weeks. And they have been able to communicate with each other. And then I think the biggest thing is, and I think we'll see over time, the people who are here. How are they responding? Again, they've seen a big change here. I mean, it's been the most we've had, like I said, 24, 25, 6 guys that are new here. And some are junior college guys. That's the most we've ever had coming in here, too, 10-plus people. But I've seen great continuity. But I'm going to find out. We're all going to find out a little bit more as we continue to have the competitiveness. And now coaches are there and watching. But I am pleased, no question about the new people who are here and their maturity and how they are going about their business. And I think that's a key thing here. They're sensitive to that. So I think with them going from high school to college, or junior college, I should say, and then now going to a 4-year school, they kind of been on that side of it too. So I think they've shown great respect. And I think on the other side too, that the guys who have been here, they've shown great respect. So again, time will tell, but I do love the way they approach. I think it's better than what the alternative would have been. I could be talking to you in a different way as far as what has happened here in the last 7 or 8 weeks.
At this point last year, it would seem like an injury to Elijah Mitchell would be almost detrimental to the depth of the defensive line. With what you did recruiting-wise, bringing in so many new players, especially at the JUCO level on the defensive line, how do you feel that has solidified that, especially when you have a guy who saw significant snaps last year at nose guard go down for the season?
Well, I think, again, because of us moving to FBS really helped us in this type of circumstance you're talking about. Obviously, we struggled last year in the defensive line with injuries and didn't have a whole lot of quality and a lot of people being able to go as far as the numbers and quantity, too. So I think that's I'm not concerned at this point in time as far as with Mitchell not being able to play, Elijah Mitchell being able to play. So I think we've gained some of that depth. I'm looking forward to it because I think in the past when we've had very good defenses, we've had at least 6, 7 guys that we feel very good about that we can put in the ball game. They can go out and make plays for us, and I think we're right on top of that. Again, we got to see how they all materialize as we go. But I guess right now as we moving forward, I like our size, I like our speed, I like our depth. But now I'm going to see how they can respond on a week-to-week basis when you got great competition coming.
Coach, let's talk again about Liberty's fans. Obviously, we all know they're intense. They get into the game. They really do fuel the atmosphere here. With the new stadium expansion and all of that, how are you looking for that to play a role in the team this year?
Well, I think it's going to be a tremendous role. Again, we've had people in the past who have come to our stadium. I think it's going to even be greater now. I think Ian McCall's done a great job here of providing an environment that has been exciting, but even increasing it a little bit more. It's more family-oriented. It's also increasing in all the other things, amenities that they need to help themselves to do as far as the men and women and children. I guess we can call it really more of a great family environment for people not only here in the Lynchburg area, but throughout the whole East Coast area, or really all across the country, to fly in to come be a part of this, because this is a unique experience. I think it's unique in a lot of different ways. I think the key thing that I just mentioned a little bit ago is just for about a family environment. And all the other staff members who will help put this thing together as far as this stadium redemption that they've done, and I think it's going to be an outstanding environment. Our student body, I think there's outstanding that they have, and I know that I'm very proud and being a part of that, and hopefully continue that, and I know they will. So it's going to be a very exciting time, and like I said earlier, it's going to be great for our fans to be a part of, continue to cheer us on through all the things that are going on here on the football field and also off the field. But I think the biggest thing is we're going to get them a good product, and it's going to be a very, very competitive team.
Coach, along those same lines with having the fans here and also the move to FBS, is consistency on your mind as far as the play is concerned on the field? I know you guys got out to a nice start last season and perhaps the middle of the season didn't go the way you wanted to, but is consistency kind of on the top of the list for the team this year?
I mean, just like anything in life, I think you always want consistency no matter what it is. Ours is going to be a challenge. Competition is definitely has moved up. There's no question about that. So there is going to be this transition going on, but I think I'm using the word competitiveness. It's my job and our coach's job to make sure that we go out here and be competitive in every single football game to the best of our ability. What the results are, I can't control that totally. So I think that we have a greater chance. Again, blessings of what the President Falwell and Ian McCall allowing us to really to get to the 85 scholarships this year. I can sit here and say, and probably I can't say I'm 100% sure. I don't know if there's probably been anybody maybe has done that. When I say I'm talking about schools, they usually maybe split it up over a 2-year period where you maybe have 75, 76, 77, 78 or whatever scholarships in the first year of the transition. So, again, we're very, very honored and pleased and thankful for that opportunity. Now it's a matter of us to see how our guys can compete. But it is going to be different as far as the competition-wise. But, again, in my life, I've always been up against odds, whether I've been a player, whether I've been an assistant coach, whether I've been a head football coach. I've been there and done some of those things. Every experience, though, is different. I'm not going to say they're all going to be the same. But I've been up against it and all those things. So each year is always a unique team. But, again, I'm excited about the opportunity and look forward to it.
You were talking earlier about requiring the scholarship players to be on campus over the summer and work with Bill Gillespie. Mm-hmm. How did you say it was 90% that were on campus, and then those 90% also set the personal best?
It doesn't match up to say all 90% got their personal best. I can't say that, no.
But it was about 90% of the kids who were of the scholarship kids were here over the summer.
Mm-hmm. And those that were not here, they were excused because they had some different things. They may not hear the whole time because they had some other things to take care of.
You mentioned a little bit about the newcomers. Roughly a third of the team wasn't here last year. Is there anything unique you're doing this year to try to help acclimate them with the program, the school, and also help build that team chemistry?
Well, I think I can probably go with a little bit more with Christy Bites and some of the things that she had put in place with her group when they first got here. I think the first day or two or so that really kind of did a great orientation about everything, not only from the academic perspective, but also just being out in the community, talking about different things on the financial side of it. So, I mean, there's just a lot of things that not only just the football staff, but our whole entire athletic department really got included with the newcomers coming here. So there were a few things that had been done here differently that would have never been done before. I think one reason was we had a big group that came in here in June. So they came in here in June. Usually they come in here in July. So I think that's another difference as far as the timing of. They usually come in here and they only get maybe 3 to 4 weeks, versus this year they end up getting a full 8 weeks, and then some other little things that we all did a little bit differently as far as all the athletic staff members and not just the football.
Coach, you mentioned Antonio in the car accident. Do you anticipate him being good to go for Old Dominion?
Good to go in Old Dominion. That's what we're anticipating. That's what we have understood. And he'll be out on the football field. There may be some limitation, but he'll be ready to go.
Coach, can we expect to see any big changes offensively or defensively, and also with Buckshot? What kind of expectations do you have for him? Will he have more to have to carry the load this year for you guys?
Well, you may not totally see it from your eyes per se. In some cases, you may see it with your eye. What I mean by that is saying there are some changes that we're making. I think from an internal thing from Buckshot, we're probably going to give him a few more things that he can handle because of his maturity. Being able to do a few more things there from a quarterback perspective, making sure that there's a little bit more on the leadership side, but also protection, different things that we allow him to do to help us to get into the right plays and so on and so forth. So I think on all sides of the ball, offense and defense, there's always 1 or 2 things that you change from the off-season program that you think is going to benefit us. So, again, you're always checking out things here and there and trying to see what's going to fit. We've done a little bit of that in the spring. We're going to do a little bit more here in the fall camp. And some things we'll keep, some things we probably won't keep. But we're looking forward to those adjustments.
Coach, Athletics Department's created a rallying cry of Rise with Us from a marketing campaign. When you first heard of that, what were your thoughts? And now, as you implement this FBS move, what comes to mind?
Well, that's what we got to do. We got to rise up, not only us as coaches. I think it's speaking to a whole lot of people, fans, coaches, players, community, faculty, alumni. We all got to rise up to the occasion. We want to do that as fast as we can. What that the details as far as the results, I don't know. But I think that's the biggest thing is, hey, again, I think early on when I talk, I'm excited about it. And I think the rise up part is really telling people that, hey, get excited about it. You got to step up. You got to be a little bit more than what you may have done in the past. Again, like I said, I think it includes everybody within Liberty University, but also outside of Liberty University, including Lynchburg, and for us to even rise up to go even more out in the community. I mean, you can go on and on and on. So I think it's a great phrase. I think it's very fitting, not only for the university. I think we see a lot of buildings rising up, too, around here. So it's fitting a lot of things.
Last month it was announced Liberty and the Cure Bowl had reached a 2-year agreement for Liberty to have a bowl tie-in. You've never talked about the postseason as the benchmark. You've always said win every game, go out there. But for the players, especially as seniors that maybe entering this transition hadn't thought about postseason as a possibility, what type of motivation does that give them to go out there, become bowl eligible, and get that taste of a bowl game?
Well, I think it's great. Obviously, I give credit again there to President Falwell, Ian McCall, and all the other people that were involved in that. I did touch base a little bit with Alan Gooch, knew a little bit about him. He was a coach at University of Central Florida. I used to go there and visit there back when I was at Nebraska and visiting down there when I took some vacations in Orlando. So I did know him a little bit. But again, I think our staff and people there got involved in that. That was amazing, I guess, surprised, but a great surprise. So I think it's going to be great for our players to know that you have an opportunity. As we talk about this season, too, there's a lot of first. You're going to be first. You're going to be involved in a lot of things as the first as far as coaches, players. So I think young people, they like that. That lights them up a little bit. When you're going to have the first opportunity to do this, the first opportunity to do that, whatever it is. And there's going to be a lot of that this year, and being able to set the bar. And then be able an opportunity to compete at a bowl game. I mean, it's just amazing. So I think, again, it helps you in a lot of ways as a head coach, and I think also assistant coaches and the players. As you go through the season, there's obviously you want to win every single football game. You have opportunity to win a conference championship. I know we're not in a conference, but then you also get in the point, how many games we got to win to get to a bowl game. And so you can talk about those kind of things. And so that keeps you dry. That keeps you going. It keeps you going in the right direction. So I think that's a huge plus for us, particularly from last year, too, as far as our juniors or really any of the team. As far as last year, we're not able to get into a post game per se. And now there's an opportunity to do that. So it's a great motivation.
Is the run game going to look a little different this year? Last year, Macon was more of a power back, north-south, and this year, Kentorian and Frank, you're a bit more speed guys, will have a little different scheme?
Like I said, we got a little bit of everything going involved in it. I anticipate us to have a little bit more success there with multiple backs. I don't necessarily see it. It could change that we may just have one guy, kind of being the brunt of it. But I see us having multiple backs, being able to do a lot of great things. I know that we're faster. No question about that as far as all the 4 or 5 guys that we have involved in our program right now. I think we got a little bit more talent, but we'll see. But I'm excited about it. That's the one area we do need to get more improvement.
Coach, Frankie Hickson and Kentori Matthews, they were saying that the biggest thing they saw this summer was Buckshot, his leadership, his confidence. From a quarterback perspective, you used to play. What have you seen? Like, what specific steps has he taken that you've seen him get this confidence in himself?
He's gotten out of his comfort zone. When I say that, again, we all have our personalities. He is, not a person that likes to talk a lot, whether he's around the guys that are 18 to 22 years old or he's around someone older. That's just his personality. We all have our different ways. But I think he's now gotten out of that uncomfort zone. We talked about that to him to say, hey, you got to get out of the comfort zone that you're in. You got to get out of it and do some things that you have not done before. Because I think you have more that you can provide for yourself, but more importantly, you can provide for others through your experiences, through the things that have occurred to you, not only from a football perspective, but also in life. So go and just be a little bit more talkative to people, and just to go up and just ask, hey, tell me about what went on for you today. So just trying to give them a few things that can lead people to talk, but more importantly, for him to talk and just talk about yourself. Just talk about your family. Talk about your mom, and that'll start some conversation. So again, unless you speak to him, he ain't going to come speak to you. So trying to tell him to do that and ask a few more questions to his teammates, because he's going to be a little more comfortable with them. We're not quite yet to go outside the teammates, which I think that's going to happen. That's kind of our next phase, if you want to call it that here. But, again, he's a great competitor, loves the game of football, and it's great to hear his teammates saying that he is actually taking some of those things that we have talked to him about, and he's putting it to use.
Going back to the running game with last year with the Carrington Mosley, who walk-on, worked hard, wanted that spotlight. He was the guy who you could ask to get a couple yards to extend a drive or, make a big play. Have you seen, 1, 2, or 3 guys in the backfield who are ready to take that mantra of, be that guy who, sets the tone?
Well, I think Mosley did a great job for us. Initially he came here as a walk-on, but he's a scholarship player after his second year there here. So I think there's going to be multiple guys. I think it's all going to materialize here as time goes to see who's going to be the top 1 or 2 guys, get most of the reps, and we'll go what happens. So, again, we'll just take it day by day.
Coach, where do you anticipate some of the real position battles being on both sides of the ball here this fall? Things that going in where you're kind of undecided on who might be starting or getting the bulk of the playing time?
Well, again, I guess that's probably the people that maybe I can kind of lean on more is probably our captains. But again, there's always going to be competition everywhere. So I think we've talked about to our coach. I've spoken to our coaches, and then our coaches speaking to our players, is to say that every position is open. Let's go get competitiveness. I think that's the best way to be able to get a good football team is when you have a lot of competition. If we don't have a lot of competition, then people get complacent. Again, I know they may say they don't, but the reality is it does when you don't have somebody pushing you. And so we're going to create some opportunities there for everybody that comes in here. If you show us what you can do, then we're going to give you more reps. I always tell them to say, hey, if you only get 2 reps or 8 reps or whatever it may be in a practice or game, I need to look at the tape and see that this guy deserves a few more reps. If it's not 1 or 2 things on this video that I don't see that deserves more reps, then it's not going to happen. And so I'm not going to say you're going to go start, but again, you want to get more and more reps. And the more reps you get, then you're able to do what you need to do as far as having more playing time. And we try to tell them too, hey, don't worry about counting your reps. Just make your reps count.
I guess specifically looking at the secondary and then free safety as well. Are those a couple of areas that did you anticipate a lot of battles going on there?
Yeah, I think it's going to, like I said, there's going to be battles all over the place. There's no question about that. But I think the secondary in every spot, we got some talented guys coming in, and I think we're going to have some competition whether they need the offensive line too. Got some young guys in here. We're going to push them in there to see what they can do. So I think every position is going to have a competition. If I had to only say one, it may not be the quarterback. But everything else, that's competition.